I'm Jeff Crawford, Nashville Shaman, and today I'd like to talk to you about numerology. So the daily application of numerology really comes in recognizing the patterns. So if I'm aware of what numbers mean and what the patterns are, then I can see these numbers and they tell me something. So if I'm hurt. I hear this all the time. Somebody's going through a crisis in their life. And then all of a sudden they start noticing that the cars in front of them, no matter where they're at on the road, the cars keep showing up and they keep having a specific number. Maybe it's 14. I keep seeing 14 in license plates. And my loved one who just passed was 14, and I just know somebody is speaking to me. Well, 14 is a number of healing, but it's a healing that comes through struggle. But it's the right struggle that brings about a deep, effective, powerful healing. And so, if you know that, then you could see that 14 and find comfort in it, realizing what's being screamed at you through these numbers is your own healing. If you're worried about your health and you're seeing 14s, everywhere, well, then okay, it's not going to be easy. But the odds are in my favor. The universe is conspiring for my success if I'm willing to do the work. If I'm going through life and 13 keeps showing up, for some people it's a lucky number. For me, it's a lucky number. For others, it's a not so lucky number. And all it's really indicating, if you're seeing 13s, is you're in a transition. Change is happening, and it's not in your control to stop it, but it is within your control to navigate it, to leverage it, and that's the key. It's not always pleasant change, and yet it is good change if you will embrace it. And so if somebody is seeing 13s, my guidance to them would be, things are changing. It's probably uncomfortable. It might be the divorce. It might be the loss of a job. It might be having to move. It might be a death in the family. It's stuff that changes everything, and it's not necessarily pleasant. And yet if you can step back out of the emotions and out of the minutia, there are probably aspects of what's moving that you can leverage to pursue things that your heart desires, changes that you would like to affect, opportunities you would like to pursue, because now everything's moving around, and if you have the wherewithal to see those pieces, you can leverage those pieces. If you're seeing ones everywhere, well, ones is a number of manifestation, of agreeing with what is welling up inside you, even if you don't know how it's going to come about, but just agreeing with it, aligning with it, embracing it, and allowing it to reveal itself in your life, realizing that one is showing up because it is. It is going to show up in your life. So those are just a few examples. By knowing numbers, you can just be aware of what those patterns are that are showing up, and rather than having to guess or go to some obtuse source to figure out what those are, you actually have a concrete sense of what the patterns reveal. That give you a sense of meaning, something more concrete to work with. If you are somebody who is already familiar with numerology and you are familiar with your own complexities, you're able to look at your lifetime number, your personality number, your soul numbers, and then also the year-long numbers. Well, you can do a lot. Because now you understand yourself. To know God, you have to know yourself. To know others, you have to know yourself. So the more you understand yourself, then I can look at myself as though I'm looking at another person, and I can see where my challenges and strengths are going to be. I can own those. And then I can be more objective when I'm going into situations or dealing with challenging situations, because I can see my patterns and my inclinations as expressed objectively through the numbers, and then I can see the situation and see why I might be having those challenges. And in that view is also the potential for a solution. I know what pieces I'm working with. Another thing is that, just for fun, and I'm not going to do this, during elections, it's easy to find the birthdays of the various candidates. And so, I do look at their numerology and just kind of see all those aspects. So I can see more than what's just being shown to us through the media. I can see where their shadow is, where their light is, where their potential victories will be, or challenges, where the dark side could win or the light side. And then I can see that within the greater context of our country's numerology. So you can use it a good number of ways to reveal patterns that help you make very constructive decisions. So if you have an interest in knowing more about numerology or working with me, perhaps having a reading with your own numerology, I'd love to work with you. You can visit my website at www.nashvilleshaman.com.